Hello, this is Mr. Tipton, and we are on our way to being able to write and solve two-step equations. But before we jump into writing those equations, let's review and make sure that we know how to write expressions. Go from verbal expressions to algebraic. Let's just review a little bit here. Words that go with the different symbols that we use in our expressions. Here we have a plus sign. Different words that go with this sign: add, positive, plus, sum, altogether, increase, greater than, more than. I'm sure there are more words, more phrases that go with this symbol than I have written down here, but these are just some of the words that we associate with this symbol. How about the negative sign? Or the minus sign? Well, there's two words right there. Subtract, negative, minus, difference. The phrase how much more? Decrease, take away, less than, less, left, and left over. These are all words that we associate with this symbol. Pause if you need to. Make sure you have them all written down. We're going to use these words to help us write our expressions. Alright, the times sign, we've got times, multiply, product. Of is a word that you'll see often that'll be a clue that you need to multiply things. It doesn't always mean you need to multiply. The Wizard of Oz has nothing to do with multiplication. That's just where he was from. He was from Oz. But sometimes, a lot of times, the word of will be a clue that you need to multiply. By, each, every, per. And then words like twice all go with multiplication. Dividing words, you've got divide, divided by. Quotient is the answer to a division problem. Dividing is all about splitting things into equal groups or equal parts. Into, how many times will one number go into another? Split, separate, and sometimes even fraction. We know that the fraction line also means to divide. This was the symbol I used for exponents. It's like this on some of your calculators. I've got a large Y with a smaller raised X. Anytime you see exponent or to the power of, squared, cubed, words and phrases like that are going to deal with exponents. And parentheses. If you see the quantity of, that usually means you need to do something first. And, we do things in parentheses first. Also look for commas in your verbal expressions, so that a lot of times that'll tell things apart that you need to do. So here's some examples. We have all these words from our list, and here in our example we have the sum of 9 and a number. What is our key word here? Well, it's sum. Sum means that we need what kind of problem? Well, it's an addition problem because it's sum. The sum of 9 and a number. Well, 9's easy enough. It looks like that. But when it just says a number, well, what do we do with that? Well, we're trying to make algebraic expressions. So instead of just picking a number, like 8 or 15 or negative 12, I'm going to use a variable. 9 and a number. I can use x or n or k. It doesn't matter. But that number could be anything. So this is the algebraic expression, 9 plus x, for the verbal expression written above. Another example, 7 less than w. Okay, again, our clue is right here. The less than, it has to do with subtracting. Now you have to be careful with subtracting. You know that subtraction is not commutative, which means you can't change the order and get the same answer. So it's really important that you put this in the right order. Most people are going to make the mistake. They're going to say, oh, well, there's 7, so I'll write down 7, and then less than gets a minus sign, and then w. And then they're going to be done. But this is not right. Not right. 7 less than w. Think if you had $20 and I had 7 less than you. How much money do I have? Well, I would have $13, And how do you figure that out? Well, it's 20 minus 7 gets you that 13. 7 less than W is W minus 7. This is the correct answer. And these two things are not the same. Subtraction is not commutative. So be real careful with division, or I'm sorry, with subtraction, but also with division. 5 more than twice a number. We've got a couple things going on here. We've got more than, and we also have twice. 5 more than twice a number. Well, we know when we evaluate expressions that multiply and divide things come first. So twice, being a multiplying word, we're going to start with twice a number. And because we have 5 more than twice a number, we know that we are adding 5. Whatever that number is, twice that amount, 2 times that amount, and then 5 more than. One more of these. It says the quotient of a number and 3 squared. And here's one of those commas I was talking about. Commas are going to be a clue for using parentheses. Means that we need to find this quotient before we square anything, before we use that exponent. So quotient means dividing, and I would prefer you use the fraction symbol instead of the division symbol. Let's not do that. Quotient of a number and 3. Be sure it's in the, it's always top divided by bottom, and you put things in the order that they're given to you in the problem when you're talking about division. Quotient of a number and 3, and that whole thing needs some parentheses because that whole thing is squared. Now, do you know how to evaluate this or to simplify it? No, you don't, not yet, but that's okay. You will eventually. Today we are just practicing looking for our keywords and taking those verbal expressions and creating algebraic ones. If you have any questions, write them down. Come ready tomorrow. We'll see you then.